new Patriotic Party commences internal processes to expel former Environment Minister Professor Kwabena Frimpong-Boateng from the party over alleged disparaging remarks. Also on the program, Supreme Court set Wednesday, January 28, to rule on the application by MP for Kpandai, Matthew Nyindam, seeking to quash Tamale High Court annulment of election results. And it's a miracle time for as 30-year-old surrogate mother delivers quadruplets. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Now, the new Patriotic Party has commenced internal processes to expel former Minister for Environment, Science and Technology and Innovation, Professor Kwabena Frimpong-Boateng, following what the party describes as disparaging remarks against its leadership and internal structures. In a statement signed by the party's General Secretary, Justin Kwabena Frimpong, the MPP said that the conduct and public utterances of Professor Frimpong-Boateng are, quote, highly reprehensible and inimical to the values, unity and integrity of the party, unquote. The decision follows an interview granted by the renowned heart surgeon on Channel 1 TV's Point of View on Monday, January 12, 2026, during which he launched a blistering critique of the party he once served. The MPP says Professor Frimpong-Boateng's comments undermine party cohesion and violate its constitutional provisions, necessitating the initiation of disciplinary action that could lead to his expulsion. During the interview, Professor Frimpong-Boateng openly questioned the authenticity of the current NPP, stating that it no longer reflects the values and principles upon which it was founded. He described the present party as, quote-unquote, fake and distanced himself from its current leadership and direction. Director of Communications for the MPP, Richard Ahiagba, spoke to the media explaining the decision of the party.
This here ought to be understood not in light of picking on Prof. Boateng, but it is to ensure that people and members of the party do right by the party, that we promote and defend the good name of the party. What he said was uncalled for. There is no such thing as a true MPP and a fake MPP. The process you refer to is the communication that is going to go through a process. And as I referred to you, Article 4 of our Constitution spells out that process. Now, this petition here, petition against his conduct to be submitted to National Disciplinary Committee, and the Disciplinary Committee within 21 days will invite him, sit on the matter, deliberate, and then reach a certain conclusion, and the recommendation will be given for action to be taken, either to compel his expulsion or not, given intervening matters. But the point that ought to be made is that on the face of it, his conduct in line with our Constitution, Article 3, which requires that as a member of the party, you are obliged to promote and defend the good name of the party. That you must at all times ensure that your actions and inactions promote unity of the party, and that your actions and inactions should not lead to bringing the party's name into public disrepute or ridicule. This action by Professor Frimpong-Boateng, you would agree with me, is not in consonance with the constitutional provisions that I've read to you. And as such, the processes have begun. But the beauty of it is that it is not going to be by fiat that he is expelled from the party. He will go through the party.
And he had Richard Ahiagba, he's the Director of Communications for the NPP, speaking to a local television station. Let's speak to political analyst Dr. Samuel Free. Good afternoon to you, Doc. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, good afternoon, Beatrice.
How appropriate is the MPP's move to initiate expulsion proceedings against the senior party figure over public criticism?
Beatrice, I greet your cherished listeners and also viewers online. You know, Beatrice, it's quite unfortunate that the MPP, some members, for some of us from the political angle, we see this as normal as it is, because some members of the party, after the party losing the election, some members may feel bitter because of government action and inaction towards them. Some members will feel avoided, or maybe not part of the government, or maybe some government decisions has affected them. And I think one of the receiving end of these government actions is Professor Frimpong-Boateng. And so some of these things, when it comes to a period where certain actions of the party is ongoing, they come in to throw that into the system to maybe to retaliate, or maybe to express their anger towards what has been done to them in previous government actions. So some of us, we don't see it as new. We see it as a strategy to also hit back to the party, or maybe to what they did to him in previous government activity. So, and it's quite unfortunate that it goes into that direction, where he tends to describe the party as fake. It's fake, but you are part of it. And the government and the party also coming out with a decision to say that they want to do is unnecessary, and to create unnecessary attention towards Professor Frimpong-Boateng towards what he said yesterday. So for some of us, I think that there's no need for the party to start the process of expelling, because even he said it, that he is no more a member of the party. So, and the party also lack the should I say the locals, because of previous members flouting rules and regulations of the party, where they were being called upon, but they were not. They even don't went through the party process of disciplinary process. So you cannot come and use Frimpong-Boateng case or his situation as a scapegoat to because I have been saying, and one of those people that I'm against this current executive of the party, that they have failed the party and they need to be changed, because they have not been effective. All members of the executive, the national executive, is not effective in their leadership, and that has culminated for these, excuse me to use that word, in discipline within the party.
Doc, a number of people are shocked by this decision, but for you, what does this action really signal about space for dissent and internal criticism within the biggest opposition party in Ghana now?
Yes. The party is in a process of coming up. That's going for election within, I think, 2 weeks. So coming out, and some individuals within the party, they intentionally will strike when they know that it will hit the party. That is how it is. And anyone that they feel that they were part of certain actions in their previous government, maybe during their appointment or within their work as part of the government, they will strike. And I foresee maybe one or two things, maybe individuals also coming in as the election, so that they will sway maybe undecided delegates to change their focus towards who becomes the leader of their party.
Would you agree with those who think that the party equally is also applying selective, justice, as it were, or punishment, because Abronye has been cited on a number of occasions and yet he's not been taken through the same process?
Yeah, Beatrice, I agree to those who have that assertion, because, that's what I'm saying, that currently the decision to maybe to start a process of disciplinary action against Prof. Boateng is unnecessary and may not stand the test of time, because all those people that flouted the party regulations or maybe their rules were not there. Even sometimes they call them and they even refuse to attend to some of these calls up. So you cannot come in and use Frimpong-Boateng's situation and tend to use him as a scapegoat, as I've said earlier. So it's unnecessary. That's why I'm saying that the party executive has lost control over the party, and everybody tends to do whatever they deem fit for their own selfish interest.
I mean, the party might not have taken action in the past. Nonetheless, it's decided to take action now. How do you see that strengthening discipline in the party?
Beatrice, I'm sorry, it won't work. It won't work because, you see, Beatrice, sometimes, I always say that the National Executive of the MPP cannot be compared to the NDC National Executive in all aspects, all because the NDC leadership National Executive has control. And the MPP lost it earlier because they were not able to control their members. So it's not just now that you think that you can activate the party tools or maybe party rules and regulations to bring discipline. No, it's off.
And now,
so that's why I've been arguing that they need new executive entirely. Everyone, so this current executive needs to be punished for their inactive and inefficiency so far for the party, for the party to have these kind of laws and in a way that they are not able to manage the party very well. How
do you see the timing of this? Is it going to work positively or otherwise for the MPP?
Because it will have an influence on the undecided or maybe swing voters for that is the delegates. There are some who have not yet decided to decide that is for whether Dr. Bawumia or whether Ken or whoever that they want to. So there are some few percentage of these delegates. And that is what sometimes some of these things goes to. And also, some of these statements can also go in for other candidates. And seriously, the statement and what Prof said yesterday, I will say that it goes straight to Ken. It's on the Ken side because the statement favors Ken's position. Because about 2 or 3 days that Ken said that if they don't select the right person, the party will be like CPP. So in that case, and yesterday as I was listening to him, Prof, he made certain that Dr. Bawumia should not be considered. They need someone, he came out with certain attributes of who should be a leader of this country and mentioned a lot of attributes of which it didn't go well for Dr. Bawumia. Sometimes some of these, that's what I'm saying, that it's sometimes a political strategy for some individuals to hit back to the party for some actions and inaction towards them. And maybe it can also favor one of these candidates vying for their leadership in this of man.
We'll have to end it here. Thank you very much, Doc, for speaking to us.
My pleasure.
And you had Dr. Samuel Friye. He is a political analyst. The Supreme Court has set Wednesday, the 28th of January, to rule on the application by MP for Kpandai, Matthew Nyindam, to quash the decision of the Tamale High Court. NDC parliamentary candidate for Kpandai, Daniel Insala Wakpal, filed an election petition which resulted in the annulment of Nyindam's election. Lawyers of Nyindam then escalated the matter to the Apex Court, arguing that the High Court judge lacked jurisdiction and the petition was filed after the mandatory 21-day period. Lord Edwasari was in court. He joins us live on the line. Lord, what more can you tell us?
So basically today, lawyers for the Kpandai Member of Parliament, Matthew Nyindam, they moved their application the statutory application to quash the Tamale High Court decision which allowed Nyindam's election. Now, it was led by Gary Nimakon. Now, his argument was on two grounds. The first one was that the High Court judge committed jurisdictional error of law when he assumed jurisdiction to entertain the parliamentary petition filed by the first interested party, which is Daniel Insala Wakpal. Now, his argument was that there were two gazette notices, and the NDC parliamentarian used the January 6th Gazette, and his argument was that was out of time, seeing that if you need to file a petition, you need to file it within 21 days, and then filing the election petition on 25th was way out of time. And so it was praying the court for them to quash that petition, which annulled Nyindam's election in the first place. Again, he indicated that this was the second ground, indicating that the judge committed a grave error on the apparent law, seeing that he relied on the wrong gazettes or listening to the party filing their petition out of time. And so these are the two main grounds. But the lawyer for Daniel Nsalawaka, led by Beatrice Adu, he argued that, yes, there were two gazette notifications, and accused the NPP parliamentarian of cherry-picking which gazette notification to use. Now, she indicated that there was one gazette notification on December 24th, but there was another on January 6th. And the January 6th seemed to be an updated, or if you like, an amended one, because it contained all the 276 constituencies. And so that was the one that they relied on. And if you're using that one, it can be said that they filed out of time because they filed their petition on 25th January. And so she argued that it cannot be said that the NDC filed their petition out of time, and then the NPP's application to quash that decision should be thrown out, essentially. Now, the lawyer for the Electoral Commission, led by Justin Amanivo, he indicated that, if you recall, there was a similar situation, Beatrice, in the Akwetia matter, where media reportage was relied on to, as it were, file the various election petitions. So he indicated that once this issue came up, he just went to obtain the published or publicized versions of the gazette. And so he asked the court to rely on his supplementary affidavits and then make their decision on these. Now, the court decided that to come back on January 28th, on Wednesday, to make the final determination of this application to quash the Tamale High Court ruling. As this stands, they also indicated that the suspension of the Kpandai rerun should continue to hold until the final determination of the matter, Beatrice. We spoke to Dr. Mako, who gave his thoughts and sentiments on the matter. Garen Mako indicated that they're just going to wait until the final determination on the third day, and they're very confident things will pan out for them, Beatrice.
Elections. The matter has been adjourned to, I believe, Wednesday, 28th of January for a decision. Now, we believe in the wisdom of the Supreme Court, so we know that justice will be done. You must look at conduct of the parties in the matter. This is a case that the applicant or the respondent in this matter, the second interested party, the applicant in the petition case in Tamale, didn't sleep on his rights. When the Electoral Commission was refusing to issue gazette notifications, after 2 weeks, when the elections were held on the 7th, and by the 23rd, time was running, so we went to court. Nobody can blame somebody who goes to seek a judicial remedy. So where public documents are made available in court and they are brought to your attention, you have a duty under law to observe the terms of those public documents. Today they say that they are online publications, but they were not online publications. Those were the same documents they brought to Parliament. In fact, on the 6th of January, that was the document that the clerk relied on to swear me to take a form of working as a member of Parliament, as a result of which we proceeded to elect the Speaker of Parliament. So that was a document that gave right to every party who was aggrieved in the matter. But we know that the court will do justice in the matter. So we'll return on the 28th to hear the decisions. So until then, we want to urge everyone to stay calm. Our people in Kpandai should keep working. As for us, we keep working. They should keep working.
And you heard Robson Nelson Dapiamapo. He is the Majority Chief Whip and also the lead counsel for the plaintiff in the Kpandai election rerun court case. This afternoon, the Public Utilities Workers Union of Ghana, in collaboration with the Trades Union Congress, is expected to reaffirm and strengthen its opposition opposition to the proposed privatization of the Electricity Company of Ghana's retail operations. The International Monetary Fund, in a recent report, indicated that it expects private sector participation in ECG's retail operations as part of ongoing reforms. However, the union argues that such a move threatens job security, could drive up electricity tariffs and risks undermining national control over a strategic public utility, adding that previous privatization efforts in the power sector failed to improve efficiency and instead worsened service delivery and labor conditions. The union is further raising concerns over what it describes as inadequate stakeholder consultation and a lack of transparency in the process. My colleague Noble Crosby-Annan will shortly be joining us with some more. But ahead of that, 3 people have lost their lives in a tragic road accident on the Offenso Bridge. The incident has sparked renewed concerns about road safety on the busy Kumasi Offenso Highway. There's more in the following report.
The fatal accident involving an articulated truck carrying heavy metals and a Kia vehicle occurred on Monday night on the Offenso Bridge. The collision reportedly triggered a fire outbreak, claiming the lives of 3 occupants of the Kia vehicle, which was traveling from Kumasi towards Techimai. Although the Ghana National Fire Service responded promptly after receiving a distress call, the severity of the crash made rescue efforts difficult. Preliminary reports we've gathered so far indicates the heavy-duty vehicle moved to overtake another vehicle and lost its lane, crashing into the Kia vehicle. The accident led to heavy traffic congestion on the Kumasi Offenso stretch, disrupting movement for several hours. The road is currently completely blocked, with traffic unable to move in either direction. The Nkro Offenso stretch has also been cut off, worsening the situation and making it critical. Meanwhile, one other person sustained critical injuries and is currently receiving treatment at the Offenso Hospital. Authorities have since launched investigation into the cause of the accident and are urging motorists to exercise caution, particularly at night and on busy highways. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Offenso, Ashanti region.
Let's bring you some more here. Now, a 30-year-old surrogate mother has given birth to quadruplets in Ghana, bringing hope and joy to a couple who had been struggling with infertility. The intended mother had lost her womb during a fibroid operation, making it impossible for her to carry a pregnancy. Dr. Nanaya Ose, CEO and president of the Walking Egg Medical and Fertility Center, spoke to us earlier.
Our lawyer has drafted a 28-page agreement. The surrogacy is now regulated in Ghana. So we have the Act 1027, Registration of Births and Deaths Act. When you go in there, you see that surrogacy is regulated in the country. So everybody is serious about it, and we are very particular about it, especially taking the welfare and health of the surrogate into consideration, making sure that she is well catered for. I'm part of people urging the state to come out with regulation on surrogates. I mean, we're still discussing whether it will be necessary for the surrogate to get to know the parent, or the children, in the future, to get to know their roots.
And you had Dr. Nanaya Ose. He's the CEO and president of the Walking Egg Medical and Fertility Center, speaking to us earlier. The Auditor General has raised red flags over an increasing rate of gun and ammunition interception at Ghana's airports. The auditor's report of 2024 into the books of the Ghana Airport Company Limited has revealed that in 2023 alone, at least 2,000 ammunitions and guns were intercepted from passengers at Ghana's airport, raising safety concerns. Ranking member on the Public Accounts Committee, Samuel Atameos, detailed the situation and sought answers from the Managing Director of the company, Yvonne Opari.
We are talking about Terminal 2, not Terminal 3 now. Those are the local flights. Local flights, Terminal 2.
Yes, please.
Okay, so you disclose it to the airport security.
Yes, please.
Okay, and then they will help you register it, right?
And we do apologize for the poor quality of that sound. We'll rectify that and bring it to you in our subsequent bulletins. But let's speak to our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Christian Yale, who joins us on the phone. Chris, what more can you tell us about this particular issue?
Yes, so what we know is that per the Auditor General's report in 2024, the Ghana Airport Company Limited confiscated some 2,000 unlicensed weapons and ammunition. That is what has raised a concern over the period, and for which reason the ranking member on the Public Accounts Committee wanted to find out whether in the past passengers were allowed to board flight with their weapons. The explanation as given by the Managing Director of the Ghana Airport Company Limited is that there used not to be a law or a directive, but as it stands right now, there is a directive from the Civil Aviation Authority which indicates or mandates every passenger who has weapons, whether licensed or unlicensed, to declare them once they get to the airport with the aviation security people. And once that is done, the due processes would be taken through. What it means is that once that is done, per the explanation given by the Transport Minister, you don't travel or board the flight with that weapon or ammunition. You leave them with the airport security, and then once the trip or the flight lands or is over, you then later get that ammunition or weapon given back to you. And so that is the explanation we have received. But what we know, Beatrice, also is that there is that public interest conversation or question about the charges of domestic flight. That concern was raised by the Patriotic MP, who is of the view that domestic flights are becoming more expensive. But the explanation we have also from the MD of the Ghana Airport Company Limited is that it is largely due to a duopoly, because as it stands, there are two airlines operating, and they largely are in charge of the charges of the tickets and all of that. But they are working around the clock to see how there could be a drop in the domestic flight cost.
Thank you very much, Christian Yale. He's a Parliamentary Affairs correspondent. And that's it for the Midday News here on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Log on to 3news.com for more news.